okay?
Yes. Yes. Whew. Doing well. Doing well.
Everything's good. Everything's good.
Everything's good. Did you see my Snapchat today? I just had a little moment getting ready today, but
Really? I should have checked it.
so I sent out the reminder email list for those of you who are subscribers, and I just want to make sure that it went out okay. Tiffany, did you get that email? Are you on the list? I love Tiffany. Follow Tiffany. She's great. Follow. So I'm just going to, yes, she got it. Good, good, good. And then, did I have the right link? It just said starting now. I wonder if I linked it right. Kind of. Not really, but figured it out.
It works.
It's like 90% there. Still have a little work to do. But actually, really quick, before we get started, Drea, I just wanted to let everybody know our new plan and what we're going to be doing. As you guys know, we've been up to this for a little while now. I'm just doing it for free and doing live content. So all of our broadcasts will be free on the live broadcast like you're on right now. And then if you want to go back and catch the replays on the website, then you just opt in to the list, and then that'll give you full free access to every replay we do for a lifetime. So we're working on that. And that's why I was a little late. I was working on that and did something wrong. I'm going to flip this light on because it seems a little dark. It's kind of overcast today.
I think you look great. I think it's lit up, so, but.
Okay, I will just leave it. Except I am going to open a window really fast. Is that a little bit better? Kind of.
Jenny. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Oh.
Started?
We're starting.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Awesome. Hello, you guys. Introductions first. Let's go for that. My name is AnDrea Pettingill. I am the creator of ShineWithDrea.com, and I have been a nail artist for 10 plus years. Love the beauty industry, and I am also a mentor. I call it a Beauty of You mentor, helping women to shine their true light, and just helping the creative entrepreneur incorporate all sides of who they are into their business so that they can create the life that they want to. And I am so excited to be teaming up with Jenny here in just creating a movement for the modern millennial entrepreneur. And we are just super excited. I'm going to let Jenny introduce herself.
Okay, so my name is Jenny. You can find me all over online at Jenny A. Hansen. That's with an E. And I am, like AnDrea said, I'm also a creative millennial entrepreneur. I'm a nail technician as well and been in the beauty industry for about 12 years. So Dre and I combined have 20 plus years experience with each other, which is just amazing. And I've learned a lot. We've both learned a lot through that experience. And we just really, or I personally, truly, I know we both do, but for me, I really want to give back to the nail technician, the beauty industry professional, or the service industry professional, and just really speak to you, answer questions, and show a little bit about how to overcome and build your clientele and build your business and build your confidence in any way that looks for you.
Yes. Jenny is also the creator of Create Beverages, which is her product company. Yes. She does. She knows a lot about the product side, e-commerce, that kind of thing. She's amazing.
Thank you. I actually can't believe I said out, but that's very true. I created and started a product-based business called Create Beverages. Learned a lot of lessons in that as well. And so I have some experience in that regard, and as well in hospitality. So it's kind of like we mesh practical and spiritual and just put that all together. And I also just want to say that if any of you watching this either now or on the replay are interested, AnDrea and I both each have our own individual websites, and I will put the links up below. Drea's is shinewithDrea.com. Mine is JennyAHansen.com, and we both have some freebies on our site right now. Drea has a wonderful audio on, it's called Confidence by Design, and it is really good. There's some really juicy stuff in there. And then I have an audio, a little mini series. One's a little bit about my background and my story, and the next is a guided meditation for you. So if you want
are you gonna share some yummy meditation with us today?
I am. I absolutely am. I have a good one today, and yeah, hopefully I don't mess it up, but that's okay. We are very, very open and raw and vulnerable, and not pretending to be these like perfect.
That's why we're doing this live, because we're bringing it, our authenticity. We're just bringing it. Yeah. That's what we love.
Absolutely. And let me go ahead and I'm going to turn my notifications off really quick. AnDrea, make you a host. There you go. And I had this figured out last night, how to like turn my notifications off. Now I can't remember how I got there. Oh, well.
Okay, so you guys, we today are talking about how to overcome fear. We have 6 main points. Hopefully we can get to all of them today. And we want to help answer questions as well, as far as what comes up for you in your business when you're trying to overcome fear in the beauty industry. When I was talking about this on Facebook Live when I was just like introducing people to come jump on, that it's super like raw and vulnerable when you're creating your work right in front of your client. And so there's fears that come up with that. So we want to start the conversation. And as we start all of our broadcasts, we want to start with an intention. And so right now, I just want to, just in an easygoing way, just bring this intention and this space to our room today. We'll just call this our little like room in our chat today. And the intention that I want to bring is that we can all create a space that can be authentic and vulnerable as we dive into the conversation of fear, that we can bring light and understanding to be able to open our minds to the things that we are stuck against, that are blocking us from being our true creative selves, that are blocking us from living as authentically and as powerfully as we want to in our lives. I just want to send the energy out there and hold the intention that today we can show up in a way that we can break through that together and serve each other in this conversation. So
yes.
Yeah.
I love that, Drea. Thank you. And yes, so beautiful. Thank you. We are recording. Okay. Yes. So I'll let Drea kind of take the wheel here as far as getting started on our topics. And as you see, this is all about overcoming fear, which is a really heavy, loaded, juicy topic. And there might be some things that sound a little bit simple, but hopefully you guys can take some good things and techniques away that will help you, because fear it's a big one. It's a loaded word.
It is, Jenny. And like, I love that you brought up the simple aspect, because I know a lot of our points are simple, but we've learned over and over again that the small and simple things create like massive things in our lives. Like I love the saying and the mantra or whatever that I like to repeat for myself is, what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. And that's just like the simplicity, the small things, like they become big things. And so my first point that I want to talk about and bring up in this conversation about overcoming fear is the reason we kind of dived into the topic in the first place, because our last episode, what was our last episode on?
Yeah, it was was it pricing or client?
Yeah, pricing. Like, anyways, and so we got into the conversation of the prices that we charge in our businesses, and that comes up with fear. Comes up with that. So we were starting to talk about this. Actually, they've studied and researched the chemical reaction that happens in our bodies when we experience fear. And what they've discovered is that there's a chemical reaction that happens, and when we're afraid, when we're fearful, this fight or flight is happening. But they've also discovered that it's the same chemicals that are released when we are experiencing excitement. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first taught this to one of my students that I mentor, and she was getting ready to go do a presentation at her job. She had a corporate job, and she was getting ready to go present. And she told me, she's like, I don't know, like, I'm super nervous. I've never done this before, because she had this management meeting. And so I was telling her, you know what? They've studied that it's the same chemical reaction as fear as it is excitement. And so what if today, when you're going into that meeting, what if you decide what I'm feeling right now is excitement, and move forward into that? And she was like so excited to hear that, and she took that into account, and she went into her meeting, and she was just like, I'm not afraid. I'm so excited. I'm not even afraid. I'm super excited to do this, And she took it, and next time she came back for her next session with me, we were talking about her results in her meeting, and she was like, you have no idea. Every time I got nervous, I just switched the thought to excitement. I just switched over instead of living in the fear, and then it how it like spirals you down, right?
Yeah. When you get obsessed on it, and you just go farther and farther and farther. Right.
And what you focus on, you create, right? So if you just tap into the knowing that what's the feeling in my body right now is excitement and not fear, like, you get to choose. That's something that we have in our lives, is our choice and our agency to like be able to decide what we're experiencing in the moment. So that is like huge to me. And there was another point I wanted to make about it, but yeah.
No. I love that. I love everything about that, is that if you know rationally that, you know what, fear is the same chemical reaction as excitement, and that you can switch that and use that fear to fuel it into a form of excitement, and just repetitively say, I'm not afraid, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. And then you just start to feel more excited and generate more of that feeling, and it changes your focus into something more positive that you can really use. I love that. That's a great one, Drea.
That thought came back to me because a lot of times what I like to take into account is this, like, how like when a crowd is just roaring for like just an excitement and just clapping, like you can feel the energy is so strong. And so when I think of fear, it's like this big, strong energy. I just like flip it around to like, it is actually excitement. And it's like all my guardian angels, just like huge roaring crowd, round of applause. Andrea's breaking through her comfort zone. Yay! We're so excited for her to grow to the next level, because that's what's happening. When we choose something new that we're fearful of, and we're stepping into something new, if we're like creating a new design in the salon we've never tried before, right in front of a client, that is where I always like get fear come up for me. It's like, crap, I've never tried this before. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't have time. My next appointment's coming. I just got to do it. And I go for it,
It's almost too, if somebody, anytime you're in any kind of service industry or working with people at all, that's going to come up because you have no idea who you're working with. Yeah. Just like
you just the relationship and the interaction and everything.
Their style and all, so.
Yeah. So that was my point, was just to let your comfort zone grow. Like, we're feeling the fear because we're stuck in our bubble, and we're like moving at the borders. We're like pushing them wider, and that hurts a little bit. That feels uncomfortable. So allow that excitement to grow that comfort zone and to what you're capable of.
It is. It's a stretching. It's an absolute like stretching and development, in the sense that you are growing a muscle almost that you're being so comfortable with. And people think of it, okay, physically you go to the gym and you work out, you know you're going to be sore the next day. It's expected. And you're like, oh, good, I'm sore. That means I actually got some work done here. So if you are sore after going to the gym, it's the same thing with anything emotional or energetic, because it's like that fear, if you're stretching, expanding, it's going to hurt a little. It's going to be a little uncomfortable, and that's okay. And granted, I think that there are healthy boundaries around this. Like, you also don't just go to the gym and work out like you've been doing it every day of your life for 5 years. You slowly kind of ease into it, let yourself stretch, be a little uncomfortable, and then maybe when you've reached a point, you can ease off a little, and, you know, and flipping that into excitement's really good too. That. Yeah. I actually want to pull up my my topic, because I jotted it down and then I lost it, because this is like my book for just these next few months. And it's so funny because you guys, all you entrepreneurs, like, will probably have like a book that's just like this.
I do. I have like 8 of them in my house, so I can just grab a notebook and write stuff down.
Absolutely. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So this, my topic really quick on overcoming fear has to do with something a bit similar, not exactly the same, but so AnDrea, you know, she's talking about how using fear and turning that into excitement, right? And mine's a little similar in the sense about using fear as a strength. So what I mean by that is that you can take, and I think Tony Robbins actually talks about this sometimes too, is that to use that energy that is just buzzing inside of you, and to use that energy and let that be a fuel of strength for you. And here's a little example, and you'll have to forgive my nails. I lost one. I lost a couple yesterday. Horrible to nail tech, but anyway, I'm just gonna let it go. But I have played the violin for many, many years, and AnDrea didn't even know this about me.
Jenny, I played the violin in junior high.
No way!
I know, so crazy.
Soul sisters. Yeah, I don't even know if Tiffany knows this either, and she's like a good friend too. So I played the violin for a really long time and religiously for a good 10 years. And so I got to a point where I was really good. But then I, you know, graduated high school, and I just played it here and there and kind of thought I was too cool for it, and just was like, eh. But I remember I would get stage fright, and I would get so afraid. And I had a teacher tell me once, and he said, use your fear and just take that and put it into your vibrato. Because when you're playing, you know, and you're doing I can't really show, but you're doing a vibrato, if you could kind of take that energy and just let it come out in that vibrato and that perfect note, it's like,
yes,
you're giving the energy of that fear somewhere to go. So if you're public speaking, or if you're working with a new client, or starting up a new conversation, or networking, or whatever that is, think of that fear, let it kind of bubble up inside of you a little bit, and make it feel powerful.
I love that. Without realizing, I did this a year ago at a training I was at, in a requalification for a company that I educate for the nail industry. So we were sitting there, we were all expected to create this design on the nail. And I started getting super nervous because the first nail of the day, I wasn't warmed up to my product. You know, I'm not used to the new setting of my nail desk and everything. And I literally was shaking, like my hands were super shaky as I'm trying to create this nail. And I'm like,
oh, like paint, like do it, or then like were you?
It was a very like specific structure nail we were trying to create. So I'm sitting there trying to create this nail, and I'm letting this fear come up for me. I I have all these like tools in the back of my mind, like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Like, what am I going to do? Like, I wanted to run to the bathroom and hide, but I didn't. I was like, what am I going to do? And so, and it wasn't a big deal, but it happened so fast. So this is like the process of what came up. It was like, I was afraid, I was shaking, I was messing up the nail, and I was like, okay, here I am doing this. Like, I'm not going to run away. I am going to make this nail the best dang nail with shaky hands that I can. And I did that. Like what you're saying, I used that. I fueled it. I'm like, well, then I'm going to make this nail like awesome. And I'm going to be like, I was shaking the whole time I made that. Look how amazing I am. You know what I mean? Like, so I just like changed my attitude about it. And I was like, well, if I'm going to shake, I'm going to shake. And it's going to be cool that I did this while I was shaking. You know what I mean? So I just kind of.
Fascinating. I love that.
That
also, it reminds me too of I had in nail school, we had a transgender, a man who was transitioning to become a woman in our class, and he was still a he, not quite identifying as a she or her just yet, but had just started taking the hormone replacements. And I remember that she was shaking so horribly as she was doing my nails. And I was like, uh-oh, she's going to mess them up. But she just kind of found a way to stabilize her hand. And the nail was perfect, even though she was shaking. And it taught me something in that moment, too, of just find your footing.
Yeah.
You know, find your grounding, whatever that is. So if you're physically doing something, you know, you can physically bring yourself back into your body. You can like stomp on the ground. You can like tap your leg, somehow get like back in your body. So you're not so much out here.
We get kind of heady. We get kind of like, we're not really present because it's like, we're worried about what's going to happen in the future. Usually when anxiety shows up, you know, oh, they're going to see my nail. They're going to think I'm not good at what I do. And, you know, it spirals into a story, right? But when you just like stomp on the ground, you're like, I am here now. I'm holding a nail. No one is like hovering over my shoulder at the moment, even though like another fear situation, it could be like it has been in like trade shows when I'm like, ah, but like get present, get grounded. That's really good.
And with, and even if you're like speaking with someone too, and sometimes you think, okay, what if I'm talking? And you can feel that shakiness in your voice. Like I remember when I auditioned for Shark Tank with my product-based company.
Yeah.
And okay, that's more comfortable. I was so afraid during my pitch, like that my voice would be shaking and I would sound like not confident or anything. And again, it was like I just had to really get present in that moment and do some deep breaths. And privately, I remember just letting my voice be heard. I was like, ah, oh, like doing these like,
yeah.
And you think like women when they're giving birth, you know, they have all this adrenaline and these endorphins come up. And what's a sound that every woman makes during a contraction? They always are like, oh, like they give that voice, that adrenaline kind of like a voice. And so if you're speaking to somebody or about to and you're feeling some fear, I would kind of recommend that maybe even just using your vocal cords a little bit and just letting it release, like purge it out some way. Does that, you know?
I think there are so many speakers and so many leaders that do this that maybe they don't even know that that's what they're doing, but you hear people like grunt or like be loud really fast, just like they have to release that energy. And I think you beautifully like explained something that is like maybe not a lot of people notice, but it's actually tapping into, you know, our like throat chakra, right? Like and using that energy, releasing the nerves. And something too about speaking with people, when we get nervous, we're usually absorbing all the energy. Like the crowd is pointing so much energy at you, or the group of people is pointing so much energy at you, and we start absorbing it. And so we start like getting anxiety or fear. And what is the gift is if you reflect it back out. Because as a leader and a speaker, you want to be a reflection, and then they feel how powerful of a speaker you are because you're bouncing their energy back to them. And just when you like the only way I can explain is to do it consciously, to just be like, I'm just going to give, I'm going to give, I'm going to give, just repeating that in your mind, just like giving, instead of like, they're like me, thinking about me. Just start thinking about them. And it releases that back to them.
And some people are very extroverted and they like thrive on that. They like, fear is like, or that adrenaline, you know, it lights them up. They're like, yes, I could play in this all day. But for more of the creative entrepreneurs who have to, you know, work creatively, and we're sometimes tend to be a little more introverted. So that's, I think, why fear gets in and, you know, gets in there and messes with us so much. But which your next topic, I think, is really interesting because you have like a little, I'll let you explain.
I've seen a lot of different, so I'll jump into it, but I've seen a lot of different acronyms, right, for fear. And the one that I just love the most is this one. It's face everything and rise. So FEAR, fear, face everything and rise. It just like gives me this, I can do it. Like, I'm going to rise above. Like, I can face this. Like, we are meant to have fear in our lives, and what it's supposed to turn into is a time for us to rise above it, you know? And so that is just a big reminder or mantra that I just wanted to mention in this episode, that maybe you can write down, you know, on your phone, if there's a certain time of day that fear comes up for you, set an alarm and just put that in there, you know, face everything and rise. And just as a reminder for you that you're rising above it and you're choosing to rise instead of choosing to face or what is the other saying? F everything and run.
Yes.
Like, no. Rise above.
Don't run away. Rise above.
Yeah.
I love it.
Don't run away. Don't let it. And this is actually another great point. Sorry if you had something.
Go
but when you come up against a fear and you back down from it, like say you're public speaking, I have a class I'm doing tomorrow. There's going to be 20 to 30 people there. And if I was so nervous going into that class and I was like, turn around, go home, I'm too afraid, I'm not going to do it. That moment in my life now controls me.
Yes.
That moment now controls me, because the next time I have an experience like that, I'm going to remember that I ran away, and it's going to be 10 times harder to push through it. So if you face it, if you just, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm still going to do it. That moment doesn't control you anymore. You don't have that past experience popping back into your brain when you try to do something similar again, that's going to be like nagging at you, like this little devil on your shoulder, like, see, you can't do it. Remember last time you couldn't do it. And we want to get rid of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So don't let them come up.
Yes.
Push through it. Like, you can do this. Just move forward knowing that I don't want this to stop me again. I want to learn the lesson and get to the next level. So I want to rise. So.
Yes. Okay. And this is perfect, because my next topic on this is all about realizing that you are not this special, unique person that only experiences fear.
Yeah. That is so good. That, like, did you see that hit me? I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
No, we do that.
We do that. That we are, you're giving, thanks for the props. So that, I know, I want to get you up to like 200 props today. That's my goal. But yeah, so that everybody, and that's, you know, you're some sociopath, but as humans, we feel emotion, and fear is one of those. And so down to a very like DNA level, anyone around you can understand and empathize with the feeling of fear. And so if you are so caught up in, I can't show my fear and put shame around that, that's completely not realistic, because every Everybody has fear. And sometimes, now some people agree with me on this and some people disagree. It completely depends on what your, what your personal belief system is. But for me, if I'm like with a client and in a situation where maybe I'm in the salon and I'm doing nails and I'm working, I do try to hold myself a lot more confidently and push through it. But I will find maybe someone that I can voice that fear to. So maybe like a coworker or a friend or whatever, whoever it is, or even sometimes if I'm really comfortable with my client because they're, regular and, I won't say like, oh, I'm terrified to do this design on your nails today or, anything like that. But I will say like, oh, I'm having a little bit of anxiety right now. I just kind of need to take a moment. And then I'll just, take a moment.
Powerful. That is so powerful. I have been in many classes where I've been teaching a nail class and I say, is it okay if I'm nervous, you guys? Like I out the fear, like outing it.
Yes.
Outing it. Just out it. Just don't give it any power. Like I should have been one of my bullet points, out the fear, because it's so powerful to do that. To just like be authentic, like, oh, I'm a human people too. Like I'm afraid right now. Let it out.
And how many like TED Talks have you watched, the TEDx Talks, and somebody gets on stage and, they look all calm and collected and totally prepared. And they start with like, whoo, I'm a little nervous. This is kind of intimidating, but I'm here, know? And it's like almost just that once you give it voice, it's like next.
There's power in speaking it.
Yeah. So, and just remember that people will empathize and they will understand, and that maybe somebody around you or your client or whoever you're working with or whoever you're in front of, that there might be somebody in that environment that maybe truly is very empathetic and might say a little silent prayer for you or send you a burst of love or positive energy saying, I do that when there's somebody who, like if I'm in a live event or some kind of meeting and somebody's speaking and I can just tell that they're afraid, I will literally like send them little bits of Reiki or like do a little silent prayer for them in my mind. And, and just like, oh, let's just help this person get their message out, because that's also, fear can also look a lot like resistance, and resistance does not want us to get our message out, get to push through our that does not want us to show us that we can grow. Mm-hmm. And so like you were saying, if you're doing this event and you run away, that resistance, that fear wins. But if you just say, I'm going to push through it and declare, I'm doing it anyway, and I'm going to get through it, even if I pass out in the middle of this thing, I'm going to stand here and get through it, then you get through it, and then you're so proud of yourself for doing it, and then you can look back again and say, nope, I did it that one time, I can do it again.
Yeah, it puts a tally in the success one instead of giving you evidence that you can't do something.
Yes, absolutely. All right, look how good we're doing on time. I'm so proud.
We're doing great. We've been known for running over, but we're doing so good.
Great. I'm proud of us, and I'm just gonna take a moment to be happy for us right now. So, okay.
So my next one is to remember that fear is your friend. And I kind of feel like we kind of hit on this a little bit, but remembering that fear is your friend is kind of like this loving your shadow kind of a concept. Like we have a light and a dark side of us, and it's just like loving that fear.
Topic idea.
Oh yeah. Very good.
Did you show topic on identifying and embracing your shadow self?
Mm-hmm. And that's so good. Jenny and I love to dive into the deeper concepts and stuff.
People are like, what the hell does that mean?
We will explain. So fear is one of those like darker, uglier things that happen in life, but it happens. We're all human. It comes up, and there's a reason for it. I was at an event the other day when, I don't know where anyways, the point is I heard this saying that says, pain is the point of being here on earth, kind of a thing. I can't remember how they said it, but pain is the point because we're going to grow. And so I'm switching that around to fear is the point. Like for us to experience fear, we wouldn't know success, and we wouldn't know confidence, and we wouldn't know strength if there wasn't fear. So loving the fear and being grateful for it. Oh, like here's this coming up for me. I'm so glad that it's showing me an area where I could grow. A lot of people wouldn't be afraid of like cooking a dinner for like a ton of people that they're having guests over to their house. That would terrify me. I do not work in the kitchen. I would have some serious anxiety and fear about that, you know, and so be grateful that you don't have fear in that area, but that just alarms me to know that I get to grow in that area. So I'm grateful for that fear because it just is like, oh, a reminder how I can grow to be the next greater version of myself, because that is why I'm here. Keep continual growth, continual education, and recognize the fears when they come up, and use that to adjust your behavior and grow to the next level.
Yes, I love that. I also do feel inspired to say that there are different kinds of fear. I think that there's fear. Oh. Yeah, I think that
we talked this last time we talked about fear. So tell us again, because I love it.
Okay. So I think that there are different types of fear, and one fear is like a resistance that's saying, you know, I want to explore this and grow and stretch into this, right? And then I also think that there's caution. Mm-hmm. That maybe feels scary, but not in a resistance scary way, but more in a I'm just going to keep you safe kind of way. But then there's also that part, that reptilian part of our brain that you're the ego, that's our entire job is like, let's just make sure you're fed and, you know, procreate and you're alive.
Yeah.
And I think that there are sometimes moments that our body, not so much emotion, it depends on the person, but I think there are moments when our body and emotions will identify and say, this is not right for you right now. Or some kind of like, like I remember, so within my company with Create Beverages, there was this thing that we were going to launch, we were going to do in this certain like model. And I kept resisting it and resisting it and resisting it. And it was like procrastinating it. And I kept trying to force it, thinking this is what I have to do. I'm just hitting a barrier here. I need to make this happen. And I finally stepped back and kind of surrendered to whatever the outcome would be. And I was taught a lesson in this moment, because I actually got me to think in a different creative way, where I was able to look at things in a different model, in a different direction that flowed really well and ended up taking me on a path where the company grew and was more successful. So I think that, you know, to pay attention to those cues too, because yes, you want to push through fear, but sometimes listen to it as well. Like I have this rule, if it comes up, you know, like 3 times, then I either need to pay attention to it or move on, kind of thing. So, I mean, not just with everything, but, you know, like I worked at this, I had this job a long time ago, and I would literally have moments where before I would go into work, I would get physically ill. Like I would feel anxiety, I would get scared, my stomach would get upset, and I would be like physically ill. And I kept thinking like, what is going on? What is going on? It's this anxiety, when really it was that my highest, like my true self was not safe and did not feel good in that environment. That's not where I wanted to be. Like I wanted to be here, you know, doing a show, and here like online and doing this blog. So there are those kind of cues, but only you can truly identify them and figure out what are yours, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it just speaks to like fear is serving you. It's showing you important things that you get to
yes
take a look at. It's so That's good. That's so good. Awesome.
My husband this weekend, that was so like stealthy. Yeah, and then let's see. Do you have the next topic, or did I just went on a rant?
I hit all my topics, but I have another thought, but you go ahead.
Okay, because my last topic goes into the meditation, and we are going to do a guided meditation at the end of this. So if you dig that and you're into that and want to see that on the replay, stick around. And then also, if you want to watch this replay live, then just go to our website and you can access all of our replays for free. So I will put that actually at the end. We'll put that. Oh, I'll put it in now.
Do you want me, Jenny, to just speak on my last topic, and then you can get into yours and meditation? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a thought that was so perfectly timed because I was on a conference call this morning, and they just shared the perfect nugget that had to do with fear. So if we decide that faith is opposite of fear, and if we decide that faith is to act as if what you want has already happened, right? Like if we can kind of agree that faith is like, it's already happened, like it's coming, it's already happened, it's coming into my experience. Then what we do when we are in fear, on the other end of that, fear is putting faith in what you don't want. You know, when you're like really stewing in something that, oh, I'm afraid this is going to happen. I'm afraid. You're putting your faith in something you don't want. So you're creating against yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, almost like your manifestor creating something that is not authentically what you're in alignment with.
Yeah. So if you're just like functioning in that space of like, oh, what if they all don't like me? Oh, what if this messes up? Like in my story I shared earlier of like working on my nail, like what if they like embarrass me in front of the whole class or like whatever. And so I'm putting my faith in creating that to happen. Like I'm not using my my abilities as a powerful conscious creator, manifesting what I want in my life experience. I'm not using that to my highest good.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, are you going to visualize and create good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to go?
Choosing, you know what I mean? And we get caught up in it and we don't realize that that's consciously what we're doing, but we are. Yeah. So, yeah.
I love that. And thank you. I just want to say we got like a bunch of new people hopping on. So we're about to wrap up, but we're actually going to end with a guided meditation. So if you dig that, then stick around and you can catch replays on our website there. We have the link. And then we'll take a couple questions. Have like a few minutes, take some questions. We're doing great on time. Drea.
Do you want to do questions before the meditation or should we do the meditation first?
I think we should do the meditation first.
Yeah.
Then if it might answer someone's questions.
Okay.
So we will see. So what I want to end on with the last topic is really about, how do I say this? Caring for your fear and loving your fear, caring for it, and not, like we said at the beginning of this, looking at it as like this achy, horrible, heavy thing, but that it is just something that is trying to show you something, get you to identify with something, and learn, right? So let's see. There's this book I love. It's called Heal Your Body by Louise. And you can take these and interpret it. But what she's done as an author, she's listed out physical elements, maybe some reasons that you're having that energetically, and some affirmations. And this is good to, yes, it's good to interpret on your own as well. And what I actually really love about it is even with like the back, it'll go into vertebrae by vertebrae, what you're kind of storing there. And as you know, Reiki master, teacher, and practitioner, this is something that we just incorporate into everything, right? So when it comes to, oh, somebody's at my house. Brady, can you get the door, please? like we're live or anything. I'm like, I have no idea. It's a home delivery. I think it's a salesperson. They're just doing their job. That's all right. But okay. So nerves tends to represent communication and let's see, what is that? Receptive reporters. Interesting. So nerves are receptive reporters. That's interesting. Okay. So a good affirmation around nerves and anxiety is I communicate with ease and comfort. Let me just make sure. Oh, I communicate with ease and with joy. I communicate with ease and with joy. So that's a good affirmation for that. But the meditation, sorry, I'm like in my kitchen because I have this big like bay window and get all this really good light right here. And the Wi-Fi is not great in my studio. So apologies for the interruption, but we'll just keep moving on. So there's a good thing talking about like caring for your pain. And I think it applies with fear as well. And so one thing that in Buddhist teachings, it talks a lot about how different emotions and different things that come up, they're almost like different rooms within yourself. And that what lives in the living room tends to get the most attention and the most focus. And then there's other things kind of back in different rooms, right? So as a mother or a father, if you have a child or a pet or a spouse or a loved one or sibling or someone that approaches you and maybe they're crying and they're upset or they're acting out or they're in pain, whatever that is, and they're saying, here, I'm hurting right now, or I'm afraid right now, and they're terrified or they're in pain, your initial response is to scoop them up and just say, I'm here for you. Like acknowledge it and say, I am here for you, right? So fear is very similar in the sense that just knowing that somebody is there to hold you if you're in pain or afraid, that is a comfort in itself, right? Mm-hmm. So with this meditation, it's all about mindfulness around fear. So I want to make sure I have the wording right before I start, because then it goes into like fear and fear of death or anger. So I want to keep it really focused on fear. Let me find this. Like dear one. Okay, here we go. So this is caring for your fear. So let's just sit comfortably or lay down, or I don't know if you're in your car, still focused, but listen. But get in a comfortable position, and we're going to get very present in this moment right now. You can place your hands in front of your heart. You can place them open on your lap, close them. However you are comfortable, there is no right or wrong way. Take a couple deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you take these deep breaths, become aware of what is physically and around you and your senses in this moment. We're going to become present in our bodies. It is safe here. Feel the chair beneath you, the temperature of the room or wherever you are. Hear the sounds around you right now. What can you smell? What can you taste? What can you see? If you have your eyes open, is there something beautiful you can see? Or if you have your eyes closed, is there a color you can see? Just feel, go through those senses, breathe out. So first I want you to visualize yourself somewhere quiet, somewhere safe. It can be maybe in a room, it can be outside in the forest, in a meadow, on the beach, on a cliff overlooking the ocean, a lake, snow falling. See yourself in some natural place in nature where you feel quiet, safe, and peaceful. And I want you to think of your fear and that emotion and what fear feels like. And just really feel it. Notice where it's manifesting in your body. Are you feeling it in your chest, in your stomach, in your back, on your shoulders, in your head? Where are you feeling your fear? And let yourself to feel it. This is bringing that fear into the living room of your mindfulness. Maybe it's acting out right now. Maybe it's not. But either way, we're going to give it some focus and attention. Continue to breathe. Look at your fear and whether it looks large like a monster or small like a child, look at it as if it's something outside of you. But you are not afraid of it because your fear is outside. You are looking at your fear. Continue to breathe. And as you stand and you look at your fear, know that it cannot hurt you. Again, just as a child acting out for attention, it just needs to be seen and heard. Acknowledge that fear, and as you breathe in, say quietly in your mind or out loud if you're private, fear, I see you. I hear you. And as you breathe out and say, I am here for you. I care for you. Breathe in and again say, I see you, I hear you. And as you breathe out, I care for you, I am here for you. For me, my fear looked like some scary monster at the beginning, and now it looks just like a little child. And I'm going to scoop up that fear and hold it. Care for it. Acknowledge again. I see you. I hear you. I am here for you, and I care for you. Going to thank the fear, and then allow it to place it out of the large living room space of your mind and back into maybe one of the smaller bedrooms in the back. Knowing it's there, thanking it. And then if it does want to come forward and needs attention and validation again, you see it, hear it, validate it, and then send it along its way. And if you'd like to go deeper, you can even have a conversation and ask, what do you want to say to me now? and only respond with I hear you, I see you, I care for you. So let's take a couple more deep breaths. Go back into our safe space out in nature where we felt very calm and peaceful, removing ourselves from that internal living room that I spoke of. Back to where you are just at peace in your environment. Breathe, feel your breath, feel your lungs. Begin to wiggle your toes or your fingertips. Hear the sounds around you. Smell the smells around you. Taste what you can taste around you. Feel the physical sensations like the chair or wherever you're sitting or standing around you. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Ooh. Welcome back. And then we're going to thank it. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. We close that meditation. It is finished. And I just wanted to share, whoever's watching live or on the replay, that anytime that pain surfaces or fear surfaces, that it is just a part of you needing to be heard. And to have compassion upon it, be there for it, hear it, see it, care for it, and then send it along its way. That is that.
That was nice. Yeah, during that meditation, because I think there are certain things that my fear needed to tell me, and we always have different things going on in our lives that we're afraid of, or growing to the next level, like we do in our businesses constantly. And so that's a great one to go back to and do again and again. I loved it.
And again, and if you want, as you're falling asleep, that is something too, you can lay there and take that moment to have that conversation, and what do you want to tell me right now? And maybe sometimes it's irrational, just keep caring for it. Okay, what do you want to tell me right now? And then if you keep asking, you'll eventually get more and more to the point, and more of what it really truly is. And once you almost see it and you give it that, then it's not scary anymore. Like I said, I try to see fear as a child having a tantrum. Saying, look at me. I think I actually wrote a post about this on my blog. I might have. It's there somewhere.
I love how you brought up, even as you're going to bed or, just using these meditations. Like, this is super relevant as modern millennials in our busy lives, that we don't have time to stop and think about our fear and what it could be telling us. We don't have time to stop and breathe and meditate. But it's like this, you don't have time not to concept. Like, this is something that gets to happen for your growth, and taking those moments. I mean, you're already going to bed, you're already lying there. Why not check in? Why not just go within and find out why it's coming up for you, and learn the lesson it's trying to teach you.
And if you don't, it will show up over and over and over again.
Over and over again. Our cycles of sabotage.
Especially as an entrepreneur and in business, it'll continuously show up, and it'll just come out in all these different ways. So embracing that is important. So
well, this is just a perfect time to end our episode, don't you think, Jenny?
Yes, absolutely. If there is anyone who has a question, I could take a quick, maybe 1 or 2 quick questions. What about you? Where are you on time?
Yeah, I think we're good. We have
Anyone? Yeah. Now my contacts all messed up from closing my eyes. If you want to jump in the seat or
type in your question.
Typing your question.
Anything has to do with fear, something coming up for you, or just let us know that what you enjoyed about the episode. We love the interaction. So that's why we're here on BLAB, to be live and to be communicating with you guys. So, and he's putting our links in the comments, and give you one more second for any questions. If not, it's just a perfect time to wrap it up today.
Perfect. And that's okay. And also, let me put the Facebook group up too, Drea, because if you are not part of our Facebook group, go ahead and join. We are public, so anyone can join. And you can also ask your questions in that group as well. And then make sure that you sign up for the email list at beautiestalkingbusiness.com to access all our replays.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, AnDrea. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. I just wanted to close us up today by just recapping a couple things that we talked about. Actually, I think the main message is to just listen to your fear. That's what I just want to recap today, is that fear is there for a reason. Honor it. Take the fear. Face everything and rise, and use the fear to rise above whatever is coming up for you in your life. And I just want to close with the intention that we can all be conscious of what we are creating as we are creating our businesses, as we are influencing others and just the people around us in our lives, and that we can take these things that we talked about today, that we can learn how to use fear as a strength, use fear as the shadow side within us that is part of the whole of us, that we can move forward with power and integrity in our lives as a whole, perfect and complete, powerful creators that we are in what we're doing and what we're creating in our businesses and what we're creating in our relationships, in our families, and in everything that we are putting out there into the world. And so with that, thank you guys for joining us, and have an amazing day, and we will catch you guys next Monday at 11 Mountain Standard Time.
Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Everyone have a good, beautiful day.
Yes. Go shine today.